Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Leave that donation for the fried rice. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Become a member to the channel. Subscribe, that's cool, but become a member to the channel. But leave that donation for that fried rice and chicken wings. Look, man, Jaron Ennis is out here feeling himself. Came out here, passed the test against Stanley Eunice. He passed the test. Everyone's saying, Jaron Ennis, Jaron Mayweather Ennis. He's going to succeed Floyd Mayweather. No one's been able to really take the reins since Floyd Mayweather retired. People don't give Earl Spence credit. People don't give Terence Crawford credit. Keith Thurman was that guy, but hey, premature kind of retirement from the sport. Came back, retired, came back. So they don't want to give it to him. But Keith Thurman was on his way for sure. But they're saying, hey, Jaron Boots Ennis is that guy. So Jaron Boots Ennis, who can fight? He feels like, hey, you know, I'm qualified now. Like Aaron the Plumber. I'm qualified to give my 2 cents on Terence Crawford and Canelo. And Jaron Boots Ennis is like, listen, Terence Bud Crawford, biting off more than you can chew. So he's out here issuing warnings to Terence Crawford, which I just think that's his right, you know what I'm saying? But I just think when you talk about this imminent showdown between Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, everybody's going to have an opinion. But I would like to see Jaron Boots Ennis give a more measured perspective opposed to just shotgun blasting Terence Crawford. Like Crawford doesn't know what's at stake with this clash with Canelo. And don't act like Crawford's not experienced in this game. Crawford got more experience than Boots. And again, I'm not saying that Boots talks we shouldn't listen, but you got the teacher, you had a pupil. And right now it looked like, you know, Grasshopper is coming out here trying to tell teacher what he should or shouldn't do. Anyway, everyone's going crazy over Crawford and Canelo. Everyone's going crazy. Mixed opinions about who's going to win, skill, power, IQ, experience, you know, the weight, chin. Everyone has an opinion. But I was surprised to see Boots come out here and talk about it. But the reality is, man, you know, you're going to see 2 generational talents collide at 168. And maybe Boots is speaking on it because deep down, at least as of right now, Boots feels that he's going to probably end up himself at 168. And he feels he's going to dominate everybody from 154, 160, and 168. Now, what I'll say is, it's good to have self-belief. No one's going to love you like you love yourself. But you got to hold your horses and not take it to the stupid. But let's just say this right. That bout between Crawford and Canelo, that shit's going to be very, very compelling. If Canelo gets past goal, and then now the talks with Crawford start bubbling up, because right now they've kind of died down. When they start bubbling up again, I am telling you, that fight, I just think it's undeniably very compelling. And anyone who wants to argue with that, I just think you'd be better off just holding your breath, you know what I'm saying? But this is the thing. This Jaron Boots Ennis, man, talking about Bud biting off more than he can chew. If he says Crawford should take a warm-up fight at 160, this tells me that Ennis isn't really understanding this big picture-wise, okay? Crawford is at the end of his career. Sure, most of us would like to see Crawford fight till he's 50, but the reality is, Father Time is undefeated. Crawford feels that after beating Spence, he just wants the biggest money possible, the biggest fights possible. Now, I do agree about Crawford taking a fight to stay active. You don't just go into a fight against Canelo coming off of a year of inactivity. But at the same time, when I look at this, holistically, pros and cons, cost, you got the cost versus the benefits. You know what I'm saying? You got to really sit there and weigh this out. That's why I think a guy like Jaron Ennis should have delivered a more measured approach to before he commented. He just came out here and just had a knee-jerk emotional outburst, just saying what I would expect a casual boxing fan to say. Oh, Canelo fighting someone bigger than him. He's biting off more than he can chew. That's what 95% of these people say. Don't even think about the shit. We all know that Crawford is going up to battle a bigger man. I mean, don't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. But to sit back and say, okay, he's fighting a bigger guy, but why does it make sense? Why doesn't it make sense? And let's weigh this out. You're gonna see that. What other fight can Crawford make that's going to generate multiples of millions of dollars for him in one fight? There's no one out there. No one. Maybe at a point in time, if they were to do some weird Gervonta Davis coming up to 147 or 150, and Crawford and him fought, maybe there'd be some big money in that, but maybe Jake Paul right now, but Canelo for sure. But there's just no other fight. So to me, it makes sense for what Crawford's doing, because I truly believe that after Crawford fights Canelo, win, lose, or draw, I think he retires. I don't see why Crawford would want to continue in the sport. And Jaron Ennis just feels like, look, he's fighting a bigger guy. He fought Madrimov at 154, although Madrimov helped. He sparred with, was it Munguia? Oh, Madrimov sparred with Bivol to prepare Bivol for Canelo. And although Madrimov put the work in against Bivol, Crawford beating Madrimov isn't the same thing as going in there and fighting Canelo. My understanding is they're bringing Madrimov in as a sparring partner to get Crawford ready for Canelo. So that's something that some people may not have heard. That's my understanding. But I do think he's going to have the right sparring partners, like Jaron Boots Ennis is saying, just for Crawford to try to adjust, at least during this period of inactivity, just in training camp, to try to adjust to the difference in the size and the power. And Madrimov may not be enough, to be honest with you. He may have to get some other big guys. But when you look at what Ennis is saying about Canelo's been at that weight for a while now, that's true. He has been on the weight for a while now. He's comfortable there. He's grown into the weight. You look at the way he's built now. He's filled in. Canelo is a 168-pound fighter. Simple, all right? And you look at Canelo at 168. He's out there clipping everybody. And, of course, he's not hitting people one-hitter quitters, knocking them out cold, but he's still dropping people, and he's winning fights pretty damn decisively. So I think when Jaron Grasshopper Ennis comes out here and calls himself kicking knowledge to Terence Crawford, biting off more than you can chew, I understand where he's coming from, but I also feel like he need to kind of just sit back and leave Crawford alone, because let me tell y'all something. The position that Jaron Boots Ennis is in right now, he probably wouldn't be here if he and Crawford had fought back around that time where Crawford and Spence were trying to make the fight. If Jaron Ennis would have fought Crawford then, Crawford would have knocked him out. I don't think Jaron Boots Ennis would have beat Crawford. I don't think so. And I'm not biased. I don't give a shit about none of these fighters and who wins and who loses. I just like boxing. But I am telling you, Crawford has long arms. Boots has long arms. Crawford can get to him. Boots has horrible defense. Crawford has great defense. Boots throws wide shots. Boots plays around the ring a lot. Crawford doesn't do that. Crawford is man on a mission, seek and destroy. No Vaseline. He ain't there to play around. But that being said, Boots should be, in my opinion, should be grateful that he didn't get in that ring with Terence Crawford back in the day. But hey, he is where he is now. He's feeling himself, and he wants to come out here And I guess, let the world know that, hey, I'm paying attention. But he is right about Canelo dropping dudes that come in like, 190, 200 pounds. Canelo does that. He does it with, one, he has power, but, IQ, but the speed and the timing. Canelo has that timing, and he has enough speed to get there. And his punch placement is out of this world. So there's a lot of things that Canelo does well, and it's been very effective on larger opponents. So you'd have to think that, but Canelo's punching power and experience, dominating bigger opponents, I mean, what is it that Crawford's going to be able to do to give Crawford the upper hand? I guess the question is really, can Bud get a win over Guadalajara, Jalisco's finest? You know what I'm saying? How? But I tell you what, I just have a feeling, man, we're going to see something interesting in this fight. I think Canelo should be the favorite, but the skill of Crawford, it's there. But can Crawford use that skill to neutralize the bigger, more powerful, more durable Canelo Alvarez? And if he can, how long will he be able to do that before Canelo catches up to him? It doesn't matter that the whole world widely recognizes Terence Crawford as one of the best, most refined boxers of this generation. It doesn't matter. Crawford's got to do the business. So when Jaron says, yeah, I feel Crawford's, biting off more than he can chew. That's just my 2 cents. For real. I think he's right. When you think about the margin of error, which is very little for Terence Crawford going into this fight with Canelo. You got a guy who's strong, who's seasoned, who's at 168 pounds, and he's coming in there to destroy Terence Crawford. He's not coming in there to go the distance or to let a 147-pounder, because Crawford's only at 154 for a short period of time. He ain't gonna really, that's how you're gonna see it. This 147-pounder gonna come over here and think he gonna bully me and take the bully's lunch money. That's not gonna happen. But I tell you what, when they ask a lot of people, right, with these surveys, when they come out here and ask people, who do you think wins the fight between Crawford and Canelo? 29% feel that Crawford's gonna prevail. 63% feel Canelo's too powerful at that weight. 4% say it's a toss-up, and another 4% say they need to see more from Crawford at middleweight. So the bottom line is, when you take a look at it, Crawford is a guy who people respect. They know he can fight, but they also feel that Canelo should be the favorite. Again, you got 63% of people who feel that Canelo just too big, too powerful, and Crawford's an outstanding fighter. But even they feel that, like Jaron Boots Ennis said, Crawford may be biting off more than he can chew. Anyway, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, 7 continents. About to go to bed. I got a sub in the morning. And I got a whole bunch of different government contracting opportunities I got to read over, see which ones I want to try to put a bid in on. So I'm in the breeze.